Hey guys, Vylaris here with the Jungle Clear guide for Vi. Worlds play-ins are here, so I want to quickly make some updated videos for the champions that are being picked in the tournament. I won't be doing all of the champions, as my friends have already done good videos for some of them, so just a quick reminder that you can find an updated spreadsheet of clears for each champion in the video description down below. Now this video includes 2 full clears, so I've included some timestamps if you want to skip to a specific clear or a detailed breakdown. Just as a quick explanation, I typically choose to showcase full clears in most champion guides. This doesn't mean that you should always be full clearing on these champions. In team play settings, it's always useful to know if and how a champion can full clear in a reasonable amount of time, as it can be tough to pull off early ganks and plays when the enemy team is playing properly. Realistically, it's often better to break off your clear part way, especially in the case of champions like Vi that cannot full clear quickly. So make sure you're just using these videos as a reference point for how to execute your clears properly, rather than as a guide for what paths that you should always take. I'll let the rest of the clear play. Remember that you can skip to the breakdowns with the timestamps below.
Let's get to the fun part. Minions have spawned. If you hit a wall, hit it hard.
That's 50. Yeah, here we go. Okay, this wasn't a very good run, to be honest. I finished 330 on this one. I've gotten as low as 328 when I was practicing, but I kind of ran out of time, and I didn't get a great recording. But I think this one shows the technique well enough. It just had some bad kiting. Okay, so you just pull this over. If you can 2-to-1 it, it's very nice. You save a little bit of HP. Same thing as blue, just delay the smite a little bit. Over here, it's very hard to hit this little guy with the E if you just try to auto E right here. So what I prefer to do is auto this, pull to this side, and then auto E. Okay? Then focus down the big guy, proc denting blows. On this rotation, after you have 2 denting blows charges, auto the little one. Okay? Auto the big one, auto again, and then auto the little one. This time only 1 charge. Okay? This way you can kind of maintain the denting blows up time on the little guy, finish off the big one next, then finish off the little one. It's not that important to balance it like that, but it's just kind of convenient. Auto E auto here. Try to hit everything if possible. It's okay if you miss one. It's actually a little bit faster if you miss one, just because it sets up your next E. Same thing here. Just make sure you're balancing your denting blows proc to get that extra auto in onto the other monster. Finish this off. Okay. Walk forward, and then E behind you. This wasn't done that well. Sometimes you can be as high as like 400 HP here, but I fucked it up a little bit. Okay? Make sure you click kind of far in right over here. Otherwise, your E, if you aim it from here, will miss this guy in the corner. Okay? Auto E auto, then turn onto the big one. 3 autos onto the big one, proc denting blows, and then 1 auto onto each of the healthy little raptors. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, rotate back around, and then auto E auto, and that'll finish off all the raptors nicely. Again, I took a little bit too much damage here. This usually isn't that close either. I just did this side a little bit poorly. Sometimes you're coming out with like 400 HP. Q over the wall. Make sure you release from a little bit closer to the wall so you don't miss the last little wolf. Come over here. Don't use your E. Your passive isn't up yet, and you also want them to burn down just a little bit. So I usually proc this with the E. Okay, 1 extra auto onto each little wolf. 1, 2, right here. And then you can start to charge your Q over the wall. Again, this was done a little bit sloppily. You can do it a little bit faster than this. Okay. I always proc my denting blows onto the blue and then auto E. That's the exact timing that will make it perfect. It looks a little bit sketch, but it always works out. Okay, pull this over. Smite this. Mess an auto up here. Slow auto Q there. Yeah, this should be dead on an auto already. But so I took an extra hit there, but not a big deal. And then I finished this about 330. You can finish a couple seconds faster with maybe like 100 more HP if you do it well.
They'll never know what hit 'em. Stands for vice.
Alright, this is going to be the blue start. I'm taking attack speed shard, HP shard, and tenacity here. So if you go alacrity, it'll be a little bit quicker, but I'm assuming you're going to take tenacity. The blue start's pretty simple. You just kite it over to the Gromp. On the very last auto where you proc denting blows, you can start pulling out of patience range over to the Gromp. Just delay the smite by a little bit so that you don't have to take an extra auto. Use your E right away. If you can get your blast shield off right before you get autoed, then it'll last long enough that you can tank 2 autos. You can see it again here. Just auto E, and this blast shield should last for 2 autos, so it saves a little bit of extra HP. Wolves is pretty straightforward, just open with auto E auto. Main thing to note is that when you're proccing your denting blows, you can kind of sneak in an extra auto onto a different monster before the timer wears out. So just make sure you do that each rotation. Okay, finish these off as you kite over to the raptors, nothing too specific. There's a lot of ways you can enter the raptors. The fastest way is just to start charging your Q here and go over the wall, but it's really, really inconsistent. You need it to be like pixel perfect, and it can put you in a very bad spot in terms of hitting, like lining up your E afterwards. So I don't really recommend going over the wall here, even though it's faster if you can get it perfect. I recommend just charging up around over here, and then releasing your Q in this direction as soon as you exit the bush. That gives the most consistent results, even though it's maybe a second slower than charging it earlier. You don't need to hit all 6. You can, but it doesn't matter because the timer onto red is gated by the Q cooldown anyways. So hitting 5 is enough. Hitting 6 is nice, but it doesn't make a difference. Same thing on the other side, just as you're exiting the bush, Q forward, and this will give like the most consistent results. And you can kind of see here, you're waiting on the Q cooldown anyways. Q over, pretty straightforward. Same thing as before, just wait on your passive cooldown before you toss your E down, and if you can fit it right before you get autoed, it'll tank 2 autos, which is very, very nice. I think I smited this here. You can also smite Krug, it's not a big difference. Q over here. Pretty sure the rest of this is pretty straightforward. Use your E for blast shield. Finish this off. I charge my Q right here. I think you can sneak another auto in before, but I don't know if it makes a big difference, to be honest. Finish these guys off. I think I fucked up my passive here, if I'm not mistaken. Like, here I should have autoed... Yeah, I should have autoed this guy and then autoed this one, right? I could have snuck the extra auto in before the W timer expired. So I think I lost attack speed for one auto here, but I don't think it made a difference because it burned down anyways. And then you can just finish this off with an E. And this is about 325 finish. I've gotten about as low as 324 on a good run, but it's usually pretty consistent around 325, like plus or minus a second. Thanks for watching. A quick reminder that I do coach over at Nice.gg if you want to check that out. The link is in the video description below. As always, a big thank you to my patrons for helping to make this channel possible.